I've never slept in a wig. Like I can't. That's a lie. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Shades of Sasha. If you're new here, take a seat, put your crown on. Welcome to the gang, and if you're already part of the gang, you already know what time it is. What's good, baby? So today's video is a chit chat about all you need to know about synthetic wigs. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my handy dandy laptop. And to kick off this conversation, I just really want to note and preface that when people talk about affordability, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You may not mean like pretty much nothing, but $10 to someone can make or break what they have in their budget. So I just really want to have this conversation from a standpoint of class consciousness and just to make sure that everyone know it's okay if you have to be in a budget, and it is okay because we're all living in the same world. It's not okay, but we're living in the same world that we obviously see, like the recession, we see what capitalism is and just poverty and a bunch of different things. And those are different conversations, but I just really wanted to make sure that I made that note while we're having this discussion. So for today's conversation, we're going to have 4 different tiers. It's going to be about what do you look for when you're buying a synthetic wig, which wigs do I actually recommend, maintenance of your synthetic wigs, and which do I prefer, human or synthetic. And in the first tier of what to look for when you're buying a synthetic wig, there are 4 different things that I always suggest and really think that are super important. And that is the price point, the texture, the lace, and the reviews. And I honestly kind of want to scratch the review part out and just say research. So it's price, texture, lace, and research. And when it comes to the price point, I personally do not think that one should pay over $60 for a synthetic wig. It is just something that I'm not going to get off the hill. I just personally think that the fibers and everything that is within a synthetic wig is just not worth anything more than $60. So if you're paying more than $60 for a synthetic wig, just wait. Trust me, there's always a deal. There's always a sale. It is not worth more than $60. When it comes to the texture, it is rare that you will see me wear a tight curly wig. I will always wear textures that are either loose base with curls, straight, or body wave, because I think that they're more manageable and it's easier for you to just like clip, shave up, and just trying to make it work for you, rather than if you're doing a really tight curly unit, it gets matte really, really quick. And it just kind of feels like a waste. So I personally never get that type of texture. If you are getting those types of textures, I really, really recommend that number 4, which is the research and the reviews, are very, very important for when you're going to do that. And I would definitely say the third of the pillars out of these 4s is actually the lace. And there are just certain laces. I cannot remember which line from Outre. It's either the melted hair line or the perfect hairline. I just don't think that it actually does what it is supposed to do, versus like the sensational What Lace series. Like the What Lace, in my opinion, I think there's a very, very good lace texture. It just blends seamlessly. I think it becomes an easy application once you have installed it the first time. Once you take it off and you put it back on, it's just so easy. It's like clockwork. And so for me, that is my favorite so far when it comes to laces. So I definitely would say if you're looking for the recommendation of laces, number 4 again really, really does come into play, because how you research and the reviews that you watch and making sure you're taking the time. It doesn't even matter if it's buying a synthetic wig. I think whenever you are purchasing something that you know it is going to be your hard-earned coins, really taking the time to make sure that you're researching what it is that you are consuming. And that means probably what's in a product, if it's something that's safe and healthy for you, how much it costs and how it looks. Sometimes there are people that obviously with a wig, it's hard to buy it and then return it. Like it's not really, you don't really got that option, babe. Like once you cut that lace, it's over. So I definitely would really, really recommend that when you are looking to buy a synthetic wig, the 4 things you really need to stand firm on and do: price, make sure it's not over $60, texture, make sure that it's one that will last you a longer time, especially if you're paying up there in that amount with the $60. You want one that's going to last you a long time. You want to pay attention to the lace. If it's a full lace wig, is it going to blend, or is it just going to give you got a wig on? Or if that's what you want, that's what you want. Pixie cut wigs are easier to dibble dabble with and get away with versus the lace on like some of these 360 or 4x4, or not 4x4, these 13x4 closure and 13x6. They're very visible and clear. So just making sure that number 4 of research and reviews are very, very important when you know what it is that you're going to purchase. And for the second discussion point, which is which wigs do I actually recommend? And now that I actually just brought up pixie wigs, I didn't have them in this list, but it depends on what is the vibe that you're going for. I do have a bunch of pixie wigs. I think I at least do 1 a year or 1 to 2 a year. So there are options that you have. But the ones that I do recommend is the Sensational Letitia wig. If you do not like big hair, I then would recommend the Sensational Adana wig. I think it's a very nice dupe. It's a very nice kind of like middle ground. If you don't like one, but here you go, here's something else that's giving you a better option. And then I definitely, for clip-ins, I recommend the Top Lady clip-ins. That's by Sensational as well, or the Bobbi Boss clip-ins. And I wanted to kind of be a little bit versatile with the options I was given when things came to synthetic variety, just because there are people that personally you may not like to use a wig or wear a wig, but you do like to add volume or fullness to your hair. So that is the option that I wanted to give. And then I would say Outre Katya and the Bobbi Boss Daniela wig. I think the Bobbi Boss Daniela wig is a very beautiful wig. It's very nice. I think she comes with her challenges when it comes to the third talking point we have today, which is maintenance of that wig. So for me, there are 3 things that I always do. The first is I always remove my wig. I never sleep in my wig. I've never slept in a wig. Like I can't, that's a lie. I've slept in a human hair wig, but I've never slept in a synthetic wig. Let me be clear. So when it comes to the maintenance, I will always say making sure that you're removing your synthetic wig. Like, babe, I get it. Sometimes you go out in brunch and, the mimosas hit and you tired. Take the damn wig off. Like, just take it off. Don't sleep in it. The second thing I would say is brushing your wig from the bottom up. I think that kind of helps a little bit better when there's a lot of snag and tag down here. It's easier to work that through rather than you just trying to comb everything and then pushing it down, and then could just get mattified real quick. And for that actual point, I want to also be mindful and say, again, the texture of wig that you get will really dictate what your maintenance is going to look like. So for me, I'm talking from the standpoint of body wave, loose curls, straight synthetic wigs. Those are a preference in which I buy because I think you're able to maintain them a lot longer than if you did a really kinky curly wig. And then the third that I would say is keep your wigs in the boxes if you can. I think I have a video on, at one point when I had my Instagram and TikTok, I think I had a video there where I basically showcased how I kept my units, and most of them are in a wig boxes that they came in, or most of them are hung on a hanger with like a wig clip to just kind of like have them freely be in there so that they could just get some air and just like, dilly dally as long as they want. But for the most part, I always keep my wigs in my boxes. And the fourth point, which is, which do I prefer? Do I actually prefer human hair wigs or synthetic wigs? And I believe I said this 2 years ago when I said that I personally do prefer synthetic wigs over human hair wigs simply because of the maintenance. Well, not the maintenance, simply because the versatility that synthetic wigs offer. I really love playing in color. I love playing in texture. And the time that sometimes you have to put in and invest in a human hair wig is just time I don't want to use anymore. At one point I used to do that. Like at one point I used to love experimenting and saying, okay, I'm going to take these 2 days to color, bleach, and then you're going to then customize the hairline and then the curling and the styling. Like sometimes doing a human hair wig takes so much time and I don't want to do that. So I do prefer put in my time and energy in my own natural hair based on if I wanted to do like a quick weave or if I wanted to perm my hair and wash my hair and cater to my hair. Like I prefer doing that rather than the 2 days or sometimes just the 4 to 6 hours it takes to actually do a human hair wig. So I really do prefer synthetic wigs just because the versatility. I love the fact that they come pre-cut, pre-styled. A lot of the colors are so vibrant and they're consistent. And I think that's one of the things that's very major to me, is having something that is consistently going to show up the same way. So if I purchase something and you saw me in it, you liked it, is showing you like, oh, this is the option. And sometimes when you'll have a human hair wig, and even though someone can follow the exact same steps of what it is that you are doing when you're coloring or customizing your wigs, and it just doesn't come out the same. And I think that's something that we have not really spoken about or said, but when it comes to which do I do prefer, I do prefer synthetic wigs over human hair wigs. When it comes to bundles, I'm always going to obviously say that I do prefer human hair bundles over that, just because I've installed these bundles probably like 6 times now. And so I think that you get more long lasting options when it comes to doing bundles and installing them in your real hair. And it just gives you the ability to just add, and it feels good. The texture is good, the quality can be good, but also the blend is better. So when it comes to wig though, I definitely want to say that I do prefer synthetic over the human hair wig. So to wrap up, I just really want to stress again, there are just 4 different pillars that I spoke about today, which is what to look for when you're buying a synthetic wig. And again, I will just say price, texture, lace, and research. That's very, very important. So if you take nothing from today, make sure you just always research everything that you're doing. And the wigs that I would recommend is the Sensational Letitia or Sensational Adana, the Bobby Boss clip-ins or the Top Lady clip-ins by Sensational, Ultra Katya wig, or the Bobby Boss Daniela wig. And for maintenance, the most important part is just making sure that you take the wig off after you're finished wearing it. Do not think that you're going to sleep in it and this is going to be a thing. And if you can, keep them in the boxes. It will just make your life very, 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 very easy. So thank you so much for watching and supporting your girl, and I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day.